Welcome back, we the people. Revelation chapter 12, verse 4, King James Mistranslation. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Close quotation. Dr. York's right translation. And with the beast called Azazel, in quotation, the one removed, close quotation, tail, he drew 1/3 of the stars, who were the cherubim, the disagreeable or malevolent beings, often referred to as the 200 fallen Elohim of the Orion skies, who possesses 180 degrees of negativeness, and did cast them down to the planet Earth, having a physical seed. These 200 fallen Elohim are your black-skinned, straight-haired beings that came to the planet Earth 66 million years ago from the planets Procyon, Dvaraka, or Nirvana of the Canis Major star constellation, and set up in the land of Chaldea and the land of Nod. They were in human form. They are also called the Nephilians or Anakites. And the dragon stood before the female living being, symbolic of Hadrat Fatima and her descendants, who were responsible for giving birth to Al-Islam here in the West, who was ready to give birth so that he could eat her child, Al-Mahdi, because of the forceful impact of his teachings. As soon as it was born, the evil one tries to touch every newborn child once it is born into this world. Verse 5. The birth, heading for verse 5, the birth of Al-Mahdi and the renewal of Al-Islam in its pristine purity. King James Mistranslation. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God and unto his throne. Close quotation. Dr. York's translation. So she, Hadrat Fatima, gave birth to a son, a male child, Al-Imam Muhammad Ahmad Al-Mahdi, a direct descendant, not an actual son, of Hadrat Fatima, and Amirul Mu'minun Ali, who was to guard all nations with a rod of iron. And her son was snatched up to the Elohim after 7 years of teaching at the age of 40 to his seat. Verse 6, heading of verse 6, the birth of Al-Mahdi and the renewal of Al-Islam in pristine purity. King James Mistranslation. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. Close quotation. Dr. York's right translation. And the Hadrat Fatima and the rebirth of Al-Islam fled into the wilderness. Her family ran from the pale Arabs of Arabia to Egypt, then down to Sudan. After the death of Mustafa Muhammad Al-Amin, the family of Hadrat Fatima faced a great deal of persecution. The wilderness is also symbolic of America, the place where Islam would experience a rebirth, where she had a place readied by Theos. This place is speaking about Dongola, Nubia, Sudan, the birthplace of Al-Mahdi, where Hadrat Fatima's descendants eventually settled, for they, in brackets, the Nubians, close brackets, would take care of her there and accept Muhammad's family for 1,260 days, 3.5 years, equivalent to 42 months. Verse 7, heading, The Messenger Battle in the Heavens. King James Mistranslation, And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. Close quotations. And there was, this is Dr. Yoge's translation, and there was in the past a battle in the skies between the Anunnaki, seraphim and cherubim. Michael, in quotation, who dares to be like El, close quotation, also known as Malachi Zadok or Murdoch, and his agreeable arch Anunnaki fought against Zuen, the evil one, and his disagreeable Anunnaki. These Anunnaki, what you call angels, are simply electromagnetism caused by electric currents, not the pale man's Christianized concept of some Caucasian fat infant with wings. Instead, these beings have life forms, but their life, let me read that again. Instead, these beings have life forms, but their life, their thinking, and their actions are of a more advanced state. Verse 8. King James Mistranslation, And prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. Close quotation. Dr. York's right translation. And the disagreeable Anunnaki did not win, and there was no place in the skies for them any more. After this war, they were cast out of heaven, 200 of 1/3, which listened to Halal, son of Shakar and Milita. The remaining malevolent beings repented and became protectors of the holy shrines, the gates of paradise, and the throne of Anu, the Most High, also called El Elo. Verse 9, King James Mistranslation, And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil, and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Close quotation. Dr. York's right translation. And the great evil one was put out of the Orion skies. That's that old Satanas or Diablos who deceived the whole world. He was put out and into the planet Earth, him and his disagreeable Elohim. And the great evil one himself was put out of the Orion skies. That's that old snake called the devil or Satan, Zuen, the evil one, reptilian Shachar or Tarnush, and Satan, who is called Iblis, in quotations, the rebellious one, close quotation, who deceived the people of the world, who deceived the people of the whole world, because they knew not who he was. They deceived the whole world by making them believe that they were not the evil one's children in physical form. He was put out and into the planet Earth, him and his disagreeable Anunnaki messengers with him. Verse 10. Let's continue verse 10 on the other side, people.